Hello everyone, welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. Today we're going to make a coconut pound cake. And I'm going to tell you, this is the first time I've made this cake. I've searched and found a number of different recipes. And as always, I try to find, if I can swap out things to make it a healthier version. So I've actually done that with this particular recipe as well. So lots of ingredients as you see here, and so we're just going to kind of start adding them one by one. We've got the blender is going to be going kind of continuous, so I'll try to talk over it as best as I can, and we'll make sure it actually will stay on low. So the first two things that it calls for is butter. So what I have here is softened butter. You can do that either by leaving it out for a couple of hours or zap it in the microwave for about 30 seconds. But basically you want to be able to stir it, so that's why we need to have it softened. So we're going to get every drop of it out and scoop it into the mixer like so. The next thing we're going to add to that is going to be cream cheese. And I have the 1/3 lower fat version. So again, here you can cut down and it's no additional sugar. So we're gonna just put that in here like so. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the blender on and let these two cream up. And then after that, we're gonna add the sugar. And what I've done with the sugar is I've kind of divided it between brown sugar and refined sugar, because I try to stay away from as much refined sugar as possible. And when I was looking at this recipe in a number of different places, it's like 3 cups of sugar. It's a lot of sugar. So I thought, how can I make this so it's at least a little healthier? So I went with the brown sugar. All right, so let's get this started. Let's go on and turn this on kind of low. And then as that gets creamy, I'm gonna then add the sugars. I've got 5 eggs here. We're gonna add them in one at a time. And I also have coconut extract. We're gonna add some of that. The other thing I did to try to make this healthier is the flour that I'm using is a mixture of your standard all-purpose flour, but then I'm mixing that with coconut flour. I mean, we are making a coconut pound cake, right? So I've got half regular flour and half coconut flour, and then we have coconut and baking powder. So let's just kind of take a look at this. This is looking really good, very creamy, as it should be. Let's just take this out of here. And then what I'm gonna do, so that's nice and creamy, I'm gonna go on and add the sugar to this, okay? Just making sure, yep, that's creamy, nice and creamy. So let's go on and add the sugar. And so what I did was, I've got a cup of each, like so. Let's get this going, okay? See how this turns out. And as this gets mixed, thank goodness that's so loud. And I'm gonna scrape the sides a little bit here, as I need to make sure it all gets mixed in there together, not just what's in the center. So this is looking really good. I'm telling you, it smells good. Of course, with all that sugar and cream cheese. Wow. All right, and I'm gonna tell you that my husband and I are going to cut this into 3 pieces when it's done. And I'm gonna freeze 2 of the 3 pieces because this is very rich. One thing that I've already done is I've already floured my pan, And this is the one where you either want to put oil in and then flour it, or again, if you use Baker's Joy. So this is not where you use like the Pam coconut oil spray. That's not gonna do it. You need something that has a flour. So either this one, which I love using, or again, put your oil in and then put your flour. All right, this is looking beautiful. So one by one, I'm going to add an egg. Okay, let it mix very nicely. And this is really going to give us the bulk of our oil. Or I should say not oil, but liquid. Okay, because we don't have any water or other things that we're adding to this. A number of the recipes I noticed called for 6 eggs. Whatever recipe usually calls for in terms of number of eggs when it comes to baked goods, particularly cakes, I always cut it by 1. So I've got an extra egg over there just in case it doesn't look right, and I realize I need more, liquid. But that adds to the moistness of my cakes. That's why my cakes, people are like, oh my God, it's so moist. And that's typically why. It's the subtraction of that 1 egg that does the trick. So this is a cake that it's gonna take a little time to cook. We estimate about 1 hour and 20 minutes on that. So here's the last egg that we're mixing in. And then while that's still mixing nicely, I'm going to add just a teaspoon of my coconut extract. And you can see I actually just bought it for this recipe because I have not taken the label off the top part. Okay, got that in there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding the flour, because this is nice and moist, I can see now. I'm going to stop it for a moment, and it looks really, really good. I wish I could show you. But I'm going to go on and add in some of the flour now. I'm going to put in about half of it. And let's see, because again, if I need that extra egg, trust me, I'm gonna add it with no problem. Ooh, it smells so good. I can smell the coconut fragrance coming out already. And then it also calls for coconut, so 2 cups of coconut, which is pretty wonderful. All right, so this is looking a little bit on the thick side. I'm gonna add the rest of the flour, but if I just can tell that it's too thick, then guess what? I'm gonna go on and add that extra egg, and we'll have to see. But it's kind of looking like I'm gonna need that extra egg. So let's take a look, see what happens once we mix that in there together. We're going to go in and mix the baking powder as well. So now we've got all of those dry products. So yeah, it's kind of turning like a bread almost, and I still have some more to add. So I would say, let's take a look. Yes, this is thick, thick, thick. This calls for another egg. So let's go on and crack that egg. And we're going to put it in here. No shame in my game. I said this is the first time I'm making this, so let's see. This will probably do exactly what needs to be done. And then the last thing we're going to do, once I get this mixed nicely, is I'm going to add the coconut to it, spoon it in. So this is looking much, much better in terms of texture. So let me just kind of take it out, and you can see it's pretty thick. It's pretty thick. That's pretty thick. I tell you what, I am going to do one other thing. So let me go on and put the coconut in. Let's see what that does to it. And if this doesn't moisten it up much more, I'm gonna add some coconut milk to it. So I'm gonna actually ask my husband to get me the coconut milk in the refrigerator just in case And you can just sit it right over here if you don't mind. Yeah, this is thick. Thick, 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 thick. So I'm going to kind of estimate, let's see, let me get this, thank you. So here's my coconut milk. I'm gonna start out with about third of a cup, because this is going really slow and definitely needs to be going faster than that. So let's see what we can do here. All the coconut, a coconut cake. I got coconut flour. I think maybe part of it was all of the coconut flour is actually thicker. And so I think that probably kind of added to the thickness. But this is still thick. This is still thick. So that was a third. I'm gonna add perhaps another third to the mixture because I still have all of this coconut. So let me get the coconut in because I want this to have everything it needs. Man, it smells so good. Okay, I'm gonna add another third of a cup of, notice how I'm doing this little by little. And then we're gonna mix it again, okay? I'm gonna get it going. I mean, I could have added another egg, but man, that was already a lot of eggs, so we don't want to do that. Just beat this a little faster. So now that equates to 2/3 cups of coconut milk. And it's looking pretty thick, but it's looking better. Okay, so this looks good. I think again, I've got to add some more coconut milk to it. And so this is how, you know, there are times, I'm gonna add another third of a cup, where people will say, well, how did you get that recipe? Well, sometimes it's just trial and error and mixing things. And you know, knowing what to mix is obviously very important. So that right there, this would equate to a cup of coconut milk. And this looks good. I'm feeling much better about this. So let's get everything in place so I can get ready to scoop this in here. And again, the consistency is different because remember, I experimented with using coconut flour versus regular flour, okay? So we've got a very thick mixture here. I can tell this is going to be very moist. And that's why you also have to cook it for an hour and 20 minutes. That's a long time, but okay. What the chef is going to do, it is nicely mixed like so. The chef is going to add another third of a cup of coconut milk because I still feel like this needs to be, it needs to pour a lot better than it is. So let's get it going. I think this is probably it. So that would be 1 1/3 cup of coconut milk. Okay, this is looking good. So you can see this is the process I go through when I'm making things I've never made before. You have to, when you're substituting different items, you're not really sure how it's going to come out. You're trying to make it healthy, but at the same time, you might need to add a few more ingredients to it. And then I think the other thing that I'm going to add, which I know will make it, I only put 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to add yet just 1 more cup of sugar. So I put 2 cups. One of the recipes that I read called for 3 cups. I know this will make it more liquidy. So let's add yet another cup. Let's start out actually with just a 1/2 cup. Let's just do a half a cup. Okay. And let's see how this goes. I've been dreaming about making this cake now for about 2 weeks. So I was like, today's the day to get this experiment on. And normally I make things beforehand and then I tell you what I did. Today I decided to change it up a little bit because I was so anxious about cooking the cake or making a cake. Okay, I would say we're looking good here. It is definitely mixed well here. It's just, again, it is a pound cake, so it's going to be thick. All right, we're going to put this baby in the pan and then get it in the oven. And I think I mentioned already that I have it preheated at 325, so it also is supposed to cook slow. So cook slow, and it doesn't have, it's got a lot of thickness to it. All right, so let's take this out. And of course I remember now the amount of ingredients where I modified to come up with this concoction. So we're gonna pour, it's actually not like pourable. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna get it in the oven. And we're gonna see how this baby turns out. Okay, so almost done. Almost done. I'm gonna get everything out. It smells good. And again, it's thick. That's for sure. And pound cakes typically are a thicker mixture. So that's not a surprise. Okay. We've got it all out. Just kind of spread it out a little bit like so. And we're gonna put it in the oven. I'm gonna set the timer for an hour and then I'm gonna check on it after that hour, okay? All right, time for it to go into the oven. We'll be back in an hour and something. We'll see. Well, we're back. It literally was an hour and 20 minutes. I took it out and it looked beautiful. I've actually already cut myself a slice. You can see how beautiful it turned out. It is just gorgeous. So let's see if it tastes as good as it looks. And I was debating, like, should I eat this with some strawberries or should I eat it with some blueberries? I'm not sure yet, but anyway, let's take a bite of this coconut pound cake. Nice. Let's do a second taste first. This is good. It's moist. I can taste parts of the coconut. I'm glad I didn't put 3 cups of sugar or any more sugar, the right amount of sugar. This turned out perfect. Okay, it's time for me to go because I need to eat the rest of this and I need to get another small piece to go along with it. I hope you enjoyed seeing me in action, coming up with recipes, sometimes on the spot. You saw the magic happen. You saw the magic. You know, sometimes it's okay, I need more of this or more of that, and then voila, I come up with these recipes. I'll absolutely put all the ingredients and the measurements in the comments section, so be sure to look there. If you haven't subscribed to my site, please click on the little picture in the circle. Subscribe. I come out with a new recipe to cook every other week. Love to have you Stay tuned. Thanks again. Bye-bye.